Hello again, everyone. Welcome back. Well, today, just as promised, we are reviewing the counterpart to the Cornelius and Anthony the Gent Toro yesterday. Today is the Mistress Toro. Now, one thing I noticed right away is this cigar has a much denser feel in the hand. As you remember, yesterday's cigar, the Gent, took just over an hour to smoke. So I would imagine this one may take longer, which is okay. This cigar uses an Ecuadorian Habano wrapper, a United States binder, and that's all I know, and a Pennsylvania filler. So it's quite American. Made in the Lozano factory. Comes in 4 sizes: Corona Gorda, Robusto, Toro, and Gordo. This is a 6x50 Toro. So let's get right to it. The new Cornelius and Anthony Mistress Toro. One thing we didn't talk about in the initial segment was the price of this Toro is $10. As I recall, the Gent was around $8.90 for the same size. And there is the dense feeling density. So now that we've covered those bases, I think we're ready. Okay. Has a little bit of a, no, it's got a little firmness to it, but oh, that's definitely workable. Well, your first flavors are just odd. It's taken me a long time to pin this down, and I'm not sure I have it pinned down yet. So I'm going to give you what I think it is, and we'll see how it progresses. It appears to be cedar, tart apple, touch of brown sugar, some chocolate, and a bit of an earthy coffee. If that sounds a little odd, because it at this point tastes a little odd, not bad, but not like anything I've had before. That's exactly what it is, in my opinion, at this point. There is some decent pepper at around a 7. Let's see, was it black or white? I believe it's black, and it's around 6.5 to 7. So that's how it starts. I'm more than curious to see where we go. As I said before with the Gent, I had the Robusto. This is a different animal. It's the Toro. It's going to be a little different, same blend, but hey, look, handmade. It's going to be tasted a little different ring gauge, what have you. So let's see where we go from here. Well, I'm pretty much at the first third, and look at the time difference in this cigar and yesterday's. We're at 41 minutes. And yesterday we got to the first third in 25 minutes with the Gent. So it's much denser, slower burning. Now, the burn is quasi even now, but I had to touch it up. It was not even. It started canoeing. As a matter of fact, here's what it looked like just a few minutes ago. Now, I did have to touch it up, and I don't like to do that. And I gave it every opportunity to catch itself up, but it wasn't doing it. I guess the wrapper, whatever, is dense. Another thing I had to do was I sort of alluded to the fact that the draw was not perfect. So I used my perfect draw tool to open up the draw some. It wasn't drawing well, and it was only going to tighten up more. As you know, it cigar tightens up the further you go. All right, so your flavors now. I don't really have like that chocolatey flavor now. I do still have the cedar and the tart apple, much more brown sugar to give it the sweetness, and a very low level coffee base. It's medium to full. The finish is sort of that tart apple with a touch of cream and some lingering black pepper, and not maybe you'd call it an average amount, not a lot, but just enough to notice. But this is an interesting cigar. It has some really, it's almost like there's some caramel aspects on the front end too. So we're going to add that in. But interesting cigar. Very different from what I've had before. For the first third, I'm going to start it at a 91 because I'm really not sure where it's going to go. And it's interesting, but I've got to see where it's going to go from here. And by the second third, we should get more of a firm grip on where we're going. Well, we're finished with the second third, and look at the time. We're already exceeded yesterday's cigar for the whole cigar. Go figure. Now, I've got a firm grip on the flavors, and they are a tart apple, some cedar, brown sugar, caramel, and a light coffee base. There are even signs, or I have detected a little chocolate in the mix to give it a darker note. It's not a very sweet chocolate, but it's sort of a semi-sweet chocolate. Very full-bodied now. It was very close in the first third, but shortly thereafter, it hit full-bodied. I mean, I didn't come back to tell you, but it's definitely full-bodied now. The finish is unchanged. One other note I have to pass along to you. And how many reviews have you seen me do to say the cigar went out and I had to relight it? Yes. Not a good thing. I am judging the cigar on taste, and I believe this is an anomaly, and I believe the cigar will do better in the mass production of them. The flavors are pretty good, albeit odd. For the second third, I'm raising it to 92 on flavors. Okay. That burn issue and the fact that it went out and I relit it, and I don't stop and let a cigar go out. Okay, it just went out. It's that dense, I suppose. I don't know. It's odd. But for the flavors, I'm giving it a 92 for the second third. Possibly it could be higher. But the burn issue and the fact that it went out is hindering its overall enjoyment. So let's see what the final third brings. Okay, we're down to the end, so let's wrap it up. I'm going to do something different here. Follow me with this. All right. The cigar lost significant sweetness. Still had the same basic flavors. The darker notes, the unsweetened chocolate or semi-sweet chocolate and coffee really took the lead. The cedar was hardly detectable. The tart apple was still there, but it was some brown sugar and caramel, but the sweetness was way down. Very full bodied. The finish is surprisingly unchanged. It really took a nosedive. The final third, because of the big decrease in sweetness, I'm going with an 88 for the final third. Now, that averages out to a 90.33. The burn issues have to be taken into account. I'm deducting 2 points for the burn issues. That gets us down to an 88. The overall score is an 88. Flavor wise, it's a 90, but the burn issues have to be taken into account. I think you agree. It may be just this sample, but that's the way it is. I have to judge the cigar on itself. So there you have it, the new Cornelius and Anthony, the Mistress Toro 88.